Okay, this is chapter 14, Connor. Dozens of buses pull up to the school. Kids mob every doorway. As Connor gets off the bus with Risa and Lev, he scans for a way to escape, but there is none. There are campus security guards and teachers on patrol. Anyone seen walking away from school will draw the attention of everyone watching. We can't actually go in, says Risa. Uh, I say we do, I say we do, says Lev, acting more squirrely than usual. A teacher has already taken notice of them. Even though the school has a daycare center for the student mothers, the baby is very conspicuous. We'll go in, says Connor. We'll hide in the place where there aren't any security cameras. The boys' bathroom. Girls, says Risa. It'll be cleaner, and there'll be more stall to hide in. Connor considers it, and figures it's probably right on both counts. Fine. Well, we'll hide out. We'll hide until lunch, then slip out when the rest of the kids are going off campus. You're assuming this baby wants to cooperate, says Risa. Eventually it's going to want to be fed. And I don't exactly have the materials, if you know what I mean. If it starts crying in the bathroom, it will probably echo throughout the whole school. It's another accusation. Connor can hear it in her voice. It says, "Do you have any idea how much harder you've made things on us?" "I hope it doesn't cry," says Connor. "And if it does, you can blame me all the way to the harvest camp." Connor is no stranger to hiding in the school bathrooms. Of course, before today, the reason was simply to get out of class. However, there's no class where he's expected, and if he's caught, the consequences are a little bit more severe than Saturday school. They'll slip in after the first period bell rings, and Connor coaches on the finer points of bathroom stealth. How do you tell the difference between kids' footsteps and adults? When to lift your feet up so no one can see you, and when to just announce that the stall is being occupied. The latter would work for both Risa and Lev, since his voice is still somewhat high, but Connor doesn't dare to pretend to be a girl. Oh, I've been doing a low voice for Lev. Whatever. Doesn't matter. They stay together alone, each in their own stall. Mercifully, the bathroom door squeals like a pig whenever it's open, so they have warning when anyone comes in. There are a few girls at the beginning of first period, but then it quiets down and they are left with no sound but the echoing drizzle of a leaky flush handle. We won't make it in here until lunch, Risa announces, from the stall to Connor's left. Even if the baby stays asleep. Yeah, you'd be surprised how long you can hide in the bathroom. You mean you've done this? You mean you've done this often? How does Lev go again? You mean you've done this often? Asks Lev in the stall to his right. Connor knows this fits right into Lev's image of Connor as a bad seed. Fine, let him think that. He's probably right. The bathroom door squeals. They fall silent, dull, rapid footsteps. It's a student in sneakers. Lev and Connor raise their feet, and Risa keeps hers down, as they had planned. The baby gurgles, and Risa clears her throat, making the noise perfectly. The girl is in and out in less than a minute. After the bathroom door squeaks closed, the baby coughs. Connor knows that's a quick, clean sound. Not sticky at all. Not stickly at all. Sickly at all. Good. By the way, says Risa, it is a girl. Connor thinks the offer is to hold it once more, but figures right now that it will be more trouble than it's worth. He doesn't know how to hold a baby to keep it from crying. Connor decides he has to tell them why he went temporarily insane and took the baby. He owes them that much. It was because of what the kid said, Connor says gently. What? Back at the house. The fat kid at the door. He said they'd been stalked again. So what? Says Risa. Lots of people get stalked more than once. Then, from his other side, Connor hears, that happened to my family. I have two brothers and a sister who were brought by the stork before I was born. It was never a problem. Connor wonders if Lev actually thinks the stork brought them, or if he was just using it as an expression. He decides he'd rather not know. What a wonderful What a wonderful family. Wait, just a second. Oh, that's Lev. What a wonderful family. They take in stork babies and send their own flesh and blood to be unwound. Oh, sorry. Teased. I don't know. Was that Risa? Okay, that was Risa. Just a second. What a wonderful family. They take in stork babies and send their own flesh and blood to be unwound. Oh, sorry. Teased. Clearly offended, Lev says, Teething's in the Bible. You're supposed to give 10% of everything. And storking's in the Bible, too. No, it isn't. Moses, says Lev. Moses was put in a basket in Nile and found it by the Pharaoh's daughter. He was the first stork baby, and look what happened to him. Yeah, says Connor. What happened to the next baby found in Nile? Will you keep your voices down? Says Risa. People could hear you in the stall, and anyway, you might wake Dee Dee. Connor takes a moment to collect his thoughts. When he speaks again, it's a whisper, but in a tiled room there are no whispers. We got storked when I was 7. Big deal, says Risa. No, this was a big deal, for a whole lot of reasons. See, there were already 2 natural kids in the family. My parents weren't planning on any more. Anyway, this baby shows up at our door. My parents start freaking out, and then they have an idea. Do I want to hear this? Risa asks. Probably not, but Connor's not going to stop. He knows if he doesn't spill this now, he's never going to. It was early in the morning, and my parents figured no one saw the baby left at the door, right? So next morning, before the rest of us got up, my dad put the baby on the doorstep across the street. That's illegal, announces Lev. Once you get storked, the baby's yours. Yeah, but my parents figured, who's gonna know? My parents swore us to secrecy, and we waited to hear the news from across the street about their new, unexpected arrival. But it never came. They never talked about getting storked, and we couldn't ask them about it, because it would be a dead giveaway that we dumped the baby on them. As Connor speaks, his stall, as small as it is, seems to shrink around him. He knows the others are there on the other side, but he can't help but feel desperately alone. Things go on like it never happened. Everything was quiet for a while, and then 2 weeks later, I open the door, and there on that stupid welcome mat is another baby in a basket. And I remember, I almost laughed. Can you believe it? I thought it was funny, and I turned back to my mother and I say, Mom, we got storked again. Just like that little kid this morning said. My mom, all frustrated, brought the baby in, and that's when she realizes. Oh no, says Risa, figuring it out before Connor says. It's the same baby. Connor tries to remember the baby's face, but he can't. All he sees is in his mind's eye is the face of the baby Risa now holds. It turns out that the baby had been passed around the neighborhood for 2 whole weeks, each morning left on someone else's doorstep. Only now it's not looking too good. The bathroom door squeals and Connor falls silent. A flurry of footsteps. That's a flurry of footsteps. Wait. 2 girls. They chat a bit about boys and dates and parties with no parents around. They don't even use the toilets. Another flurry of footsteps heading out. A squeal of the door. And then they're low again. So what happened to the baby? Risa asks. By the time it landed on her doorstep, it was sick. It was coughing like a seal, and its skin and eyes were yellow. Jaundice, says Risa gently. A lot of babies show up at Tahoe that way. My parents brought it to the hospital, but there was nothing they could do. I was there when it died. I saw it die. Connor closes his eyes and grits his teeth to keep tears back. He knows the others can't see them, but he doesn't want them to come anyway. I remember thinking, if a baby was going to be so unloved, why would God want it brought into the world? He wonders if Lev will have some pronouncement on the topic. After all, when it comes to God, Lev claimed to have all the answers. But all Lev says is, I didn't know you believed in God. Connor takes a moment to push his emotions down, then continues. Anyway, since it was legally ours, we paid for the funeral. It didn't even have a name, and my parents couldn't bear to give it one. It was just Baby Lassiter. And even though no one wanted it, the entire neighborhood came to the funeral. People were crying like it was their baby that had died. And that's when I realized that the people who were crying, they were the ones who had passed the baby around. They were the ones, just like my parents, who had a hand in killing it. There's silence now. The leaky flush handle drizzles. Can you hear that? I don't know. I was just stirred around my cup of water. That's the sound of the drizzle. Next door in the boys' bathroom, a toilet flushes, and the sound echoes hollowly around them. That's echoing. People shouldn't give away babies. People shouldn't give away babies that are left at their door. Lev finally says. People shouldn't stork their babies. Risa responds. People shouldn't do a lot of things, says Connor. He knows they're both right, but it doesn't make a difference. In a perfect world, mothers would all want their babies, and strangers would open up their homes to the unloved. In a perfect world, everything would be either black or white, right or wrong, and everyone would know the difference. But this isn't a perfect world. The problem is people who think it is. Anyway, I just wanted you to know, in a few moments the bell rings, and there's commotion in the hall. The bathroom door creaks open, girls laughing, talking about everything and nothing. Next time wear a dress. Can I borrow your history book? That test was impossible. Unending squeals from the door and constant tugs on Connor's locked stall door. No one tall enough to look over. No one has any desire to look under. The late bell rings. The last girls hurry to class. They've made it to second period. If they're lucky, the school will have a mid-morning break. Maybe they could sneak out then. In the recess stall, the baby's making wakeful noises. Not crying, but a sort of clicking. That's what the baby sounds like, on the verge of hungry tears. Should we change stalls? Asked Risa. Repeat visitors might get suspicious if they see my feet in the same stall. Good idea. Listening closely to make sure they can't hear any footsteps in the hall, Connor pulls open his stall, switching places with Risa. Lev's door is open as well, but he's not coming out. Connor pushes Lev's door open all the way. He's not there. Lev? He looks to Risa, who just shakes her head. They check every stall, and then check the one that Lev was in again, as if he might reappear, but he doesn't. Lev is gone, and the baby begins wailing for all it's worth. Where? I'm a baby. Where? So that was chapter 14. Lev is gone. I knew that would happen, because he's a traitor, and no one liked him.